Before we move on to the next section in the workshop, I wanted to go over a very important concept with you. Have you ever wondered why so few people ever seem to escape the gravity of their current job? Very, very few people seem to achieve financial independence and be really well off. Most people are dominated by the urgencies that are given to them by other people and their agendas. They very rarely get to suddenly work on only what they want to work on. The reason is that we live in a very interesting system. It's the capitalistic system. It permeates every single facet of our existence. And capitalism, like it or not, is set up to reward the capitalists, the owners of the means of producing wealth. Those owners can be direct owners, as you might find in a small business, or they might be investors in larger businesses. They're listed on the stock exchange, but the whole point is the system rewards ownership. The system does not necessarily reward employees. Employees get paid based on supply and demand of a specific skill set, not necessarily the value that they actually produce for the enterprise. Actually, most of the time, employees do not get paid on value at all. If you're let me give you an example. If you're a nurse, there is a certain number of nurses in a specific metroplex, and there's a certain amount of demand for nurses in the metroplex, and that comes into balance in the marketplace. And that really determines how much a nurse of a certain level of seniority and experience gets paid. Unfortunately, the way the system works is that employees usually get paid just enough to get by, and that Americans cooperate by spending quite quickly to live pretty well. The result of that, of course, is that you kind of have golden handcuffs on. You earn a certain amount of money, and that you got to keep working to make your bills, and that's where you're at. So ultimately, in this little concept, it's kind of hard to swallow. You're making exactly how much you deserve today. Lots and lots of people don't want to agree with this. They're like, no. I deserve to make more. But the truth is, you're making what you deserve based on the skills that you've developed, based on the choices that you've made, based on the time and effort that you've invested over the years till you got to this very day. Sure, there might be a little bit of rounding error, 5% here or there, but at the end of the day, you are currently earning what you deserve. So how do you change that? Well, you have to work with the system, not against the system. You have to invest your time and money in ways that will yield you a better harvest or a paycheck or whichever way we're going to look at the harvest in the future. So instead of complaining about today's harvest, the decisions have to be made as to where you're going to invest your time so that it will pay off in the future. Let me give you an example. Let's say Joe comes along, young man, he decides to go to college, gets an undergrad degree, then he goes on to law school. He graduates law school, passes the bar exam, joins a good firm, joins another firm, stays at that firm for a long time, works hard, becomes a partner. Joe has invested 15 years of his life till he got to being a partner, and now he's part of the right class in capitalism to get paid for value produced by the firm. As a partner, he gets to share in the spoils of the firm, and hopefully that firm is producing good value. In much the same way, all of us can make decisions as to where we invest our time this month that might plant seeds that wind up paying off. That harvest might be 3 years out, 5 years out, but we can get paid based on where we invest our time. Unfortunately, for most of us, what that really means is that we have to subdivide our time. We might have a current day job, and yes, you have to do a certain amount of work on your day job if you're going to continue to collect that check. And you also have to make the hard decision to find hours, no matter what it takes, to invest your time, plant those seeds, cultivate those seeds, water those seeds, and then maybe someday in the future you will have a greater harvest that does give you the opportunity to break free and break out and become more financially secure or more financially independent. So I hope you're having a red pill clarity moment here, but what this really means is that you have to make the right decisions and you have to invest your time, not spend it. What drives me absolutely crazy is when I look at the statistics of where people spend their time. Right now in America, we're about to cross the 5 hours of television every single day for every single American in this country. That's a crazy amount of time to throw away sitting on the couch, eating chips, watching TV. If you think about it, if you use that time wisely, you could plant seeds, you could cultivate them, you could get a better harvest in the future. Just not a lot of folks want to do that, apparently. Ultimately, everything comes down to an investment of your time. The truth is, time is actually harder to get these days than money. If you have a great idea and you present it well, there's lots of investors with dry funds waiting to be invested in something else. So getting the actual money to implement your business idea is often simpler than finding the time to get to that point where you've done your homework, you've done your research, you've created your plans, you've presented them, you've landed the investors. So, as you go into this next phase of the workshop, please keep in mind, time and money have to be invested, not spent. And if you do that, if you make the wise choices, you'll find that you do have a much better chance of having a nice harvest, a nice paycheck, a nice dividend, whichever way you want to look at it, in the near future. Oh, one last thought that I forgot about. I've actually written a paper on this red pill clarity concept. If you're interested in getting a copy of the paper, just shoot me a note using the comments tab and ask for the red pill clarity white paper, and I'll be sure and send it to you right away. Okay, I guess that's it. Let's move on back to the workshop.